So the second paper that we are going to study today from VRIN 1996, he argued that knowledge-based view is not only a perspective, it's rather a theory of the firm. And we have explained past week, the theory of firm means you need to find out the antecedents or the determinants of the existence of the firm. So why we need a firm? So that is beyond the traditional discussion on the traditional factor inputs from labor and capital, so that the production function can explain the reason why the firm exists. Brent argued that knowledge, because of the complexity and the organizational knowledge, could not only rely on individual knowledge, but also from the organizational interaction, and so that it can help build up a system of knowledge. That is the reason why we need a firm, because we cannot, in modern world, we cannot rely only one or two individuals to provide, to design and create those products and services. So that we need a firm, we need a team of talents, we need those talents, engineers, along with their knowledge to create those valuable products. Okay, so Grant argued that it's not only a perspective, it's a knowledge-based theory of the firm. Okay, so if you look back to Nonaka, 1994, it describes the process and the essence of how a firm to create the organizational knowledge. Okay, this is a very classic article that it describes from individual level knowledge to organizational level knowledge, and as we consider knowledge, we need to take two aspects simultaneously into consideration. One is the tacit knowledge, tacit and explicit side of knowledge. So we have studied this view of the firm, because traditionally we consider the firm to be a collection of products. Okay, so traditionally we see a firm is a portfolio of products and services. It's a more external viewpoint. So from outside viewpoint, when a firm engaged in a market transaction, is on the supply side. So if this is a market, and on the one side, the suppliers or the producers provide their value proposition by use of a set of products or services to be in transaction with the users or consumers, buyers from another side. So this is the supply side and this is the demand side. In between is the products and services in market transaction. Okay, so for firm, so we focus on the firm. Okay, so how the firm perform and how the firm behave, and how the firms can outperform the other competitors. Because when you are considering a market competition, so because there are several suppliers on the supply side to provide similar products and services onto the market. So some of them may be the direct rivals. So they compete for, on the one hand, they compete for the demand from the potential buyers and consumers. But on the other hand, the firms also competing for the supply chain to secure the supply of the components or modules to be in creation of the products and services with those value they propose to the potential customers. Okay, so strategy researchers want to study what are the sources of the potential competitive advantages. Okay, and competitive advantages. So the firm are in pursuit of competitive advantages. And what are competitive advantages? Competitive advantages indicates the phenomenon that some firms outperform the others, and after the competition. So only when they are engaged in a real business competition, and after the competition, some firms do really outperform the others. So strategy researchers always wonder why some firm can outperform the others. So instead of to investigate from the external viewpoint, the strategy researcher turn their investigation from the internal examination of the resources and capabilities that a firm possess. Okay, and for what we have been studying for the past 2 weeks, we know the resource from the resource side. To see a firm, we could consider the possession and the utilization of the resources. So not only to own valuable, rare, inimitable, and non-substitutable resources, VRIN. So valuable and rare. So Barney in 1986 and Barney in 1991 argue that if some firm possesses valuable and rare resources, and those resources can consequently contribute to build up, to create a competitive advantages in comparison with other competitors. And furthermore, if those resources are hard to imitate or inimitable and non-substitutable, then it's able to be the sources of sustainable competitive advantage. So the resources, if you own some resources that are valuable, rare, and even furthermore inimitable and non-substitutable, so that the firms can rely on those resources to create competitive advantage and sustainable, could be sustainable competitive advantage. Okay. KBV is another research stream describing how firms behave differently from each other, and how could we manage the knowledge base within the firm. So KBV stands for knowledge-based view. Okay. So knowledge only another form of resources, or knowledge is a distinctive sources of the reason why we need a firm. You know, in modern business world, traditionally we have three fundamental factor input for production: labor, land, and capital, to help a firm to create their products or services. But in today's modern business world, knowledge is the fourth factor of production. And some researchers argue just like so tested knowledge could be one of the valuable and inimitable and non-substitutable resources for a firm. Okay, so KBV is our second mainstream within the field of strategy research. Okay, and after KBV, we will move on to the capabilities view of the competitive advantage. So capabilities, and even furthermore, we will discuss dynamic capabilities. Okay, dynamic capability. So at that time, you could grasp a more complete, a more comprehensive view of the firm. So competence is a combination for several level of skill sets that you can apply to the creation and the delivery of the value that you propose to the target audience. Okay, and you will also be going to study here dynamic capabilities. Okay, so that is the relationship among different streams of research. Okay. So we start from the resource-based view, RBV, and then today we are going to start the first session of knowledge-based view of the firm, KBV. Okay, and after these two sessions, we are going to study competence and capabilities view of the firm. Core competence and capabilities, dynamic capabilities. Okay, so I think, so in a moment we are going to have you to start to present your study on these three articles, and you kind of provide your initial understanding and may provide some insights that you have learned about, and let's see what we is there anything that we should further clarify, and we can coordinate and combine different viewpoints from you after your presentation.